I don't think it was stressful. I think it was like, how much more can I go? I know now that they rest players if they're injured. I didn't want to rest at all.
Right now, you and Tahiti are currently realtors, right?
Yep.
So how did you get into that career and what were you doing prior to becoming a realtor?
How I got into real estate was because Tahiti was a realtor, and
Yeah.
I was going with her to showings and open houses, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Prior to that, I was working at Kamehameha Schools, substitute teacher. I was working at Kahumanu Gym as running that gym. And I think because being a graduate, it was so comfortable
Hmm.
being there. And then, I love the gym. I love to work out. So it
Yeah.
was just automatic. And when I started going on showings and other appointments, I was like, I can do this. This is pretty cool. And then Tahiti was like, well, yeah, let's be a team. Let's partner up and be a team. And so I was like, okay, why not? Took the test. Well, actually, I took the pre-licensing course,
Hmm.
passed, took the test, passed, and I was a realtor and no longer up at Kamehameha Schools. And then I stopped working out. That's the worst thing that you could do.
Oh no.
You stop working out, and yeah, it's being a realtor, serving people, serving the people of Hawaii
Yeah.
has been amazing, an amazing journey. We love helping local people. We love handing over keys, and um, it's been probably what 10 years now.
Yeah. At the time when you started doing that, it's like so different from, as you say, like athletics, teaching, and
Hmm.
serving in that aspect. But as I'm hearing you describe what you love about it, it's almost like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like it seems like in whichever avenue that you're going, it seems like your focus is helping others, serving
Yeah.
others. Where has that always been something within you, or where did you learn that kind of desire and quality?
Oh, I think just my upbringing, my family life. My dad was a coach, and he was coaching up at Kamehameha boys basketball. And then when I got to high school, he volunteered girls basketball. And just seeing him love helping and kind of nurturing athletes on, I think it's just kind of in my nature from my parents
Hmm.
because they're loving and nurturing. And I think, why not? Why not help anybody if they wanted the help? That's the key,
Hmm.
though. You have to want the help. You can't just
Right.
force your help on somebody if they don't want it because you're just wasting your own energy. So I've come to learn that you need to work with people that actually want help, and then they're fully invested in you
Hmm.
instead of, okay, well, so and so's mom wants you to help the daughter. And I was like,
Right.
well, I get those calls,
Yeah.
and they're from my dad. Can you help my friend's daughter? And I'm like, well, does she want the help, or does that your friend want me to help her daughter? I need to have commitment from that individual.
Yeah.
So then I'm just wasting my own energy if they're not fully invested in it. But I think it's just in my own nature that, it feels good to help others. It feels good to be in a position, first of all, to help others. And I tell my niece, it doesn't cost anything to be kind, doesn't
Mm.
cost you anything to be nice. If you can open a door for somebody or help somebody in any way, take it, because that not only will make them feel good or maybe make their day, but it will fill you up as well. And so you try to pass those on to the younger generation.
It's funny that you say the younger generation, and I'm looking at you. I'm like, but you're still the younger generation because like
Oh
you,
no.
you, you still look like you're still like fresh out of college. It's. I don't know how you found the fountain of youth, but you gotta
It's
show it
called
to me one day.
Filipino, part Filipino.
Well, you're talking about people needing to want the help and such. I
Mhm.
was curious because you to have the kind of success that you did, like I imagine like you had to have this really competitive spirit and drive. Is it hard or was it hard for you when you're helping others who want the help, but it's like you don't see that same kind of passion or drive that you had yourself. And did you have that difficulty of like, come on, why can't you do it? I did it. Or,
Of
even like
course.
in real estate too. It's right. Like you've seen how transactions go, and you see somebody that I really want
Yeah.
this to go through, and you're like, but you don't really because you're not working hard enough. Like, do you still
Yeah.
have that kind of going on in you?
I think early on in my transition from athletics and sports to helping others in that sense, yeah, there was a lot of expectation for me
Yeah.
and that non-understanding of why you don't want this, why do I want this more than
Right.
you
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I had to lessen my expectation of individuals. Even in real estate, you have to
Hmm.
manage their expectation. And also, I think I had to manage my expectation of what I thought was best
Yeah.
and kind of work in the middle of that. So everybody's happy. So when people ask me to help them train, whether it's like in strength and conditioning or basketball, I think I'm more of a cheerleader, but you have to gauge the individual.
Hmm.
If you feel like the individual can push a little bit more, then you keep testing that water and you keep like making their box a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger because they're comfortable in their little box. Okay, fine, let's be comfortable here, but let's try and test out taking a step out
Hmm.
here and there. And I think it's knowing what you're working with
Yeah.
and having that expectation of, okay, for even myself, of, okay, I see what I'm working with, I see your work ethic, I think I can go a little bit harder, or maybe I need to tone it down back to constantly reinforce positivity and gains that you're making within your own box right now. So I think it's learning and feeling out that individual. It's not just one size fits all.
Yeah. Do you remember kind of as you started this transition to training athletes, from going from the athlete yourself to imparting this, wisdom and experience on these other athletes? Was there a certain um, student or trainee that when something happened, you're like, ah, this is the thing that kind of got you hooked into this is what I want to do moving forward? Was there some kind of experience that you can recall?
Well, I had like right after I finished playing, when I came home, I had started a nonprofit called D1 Basketball, and we did basketball clinics. We did basketball clinics here in Oahu, and this was a long time ago. And for me, it's another lifetime ago because I
Yeah.
no longer do that kind of stuff. But we did clinics here. We did clinics on outer islands. We had an exhibition team that
Wow.
we went around and played Chaminade, UH Hilo, HPU. We played those Division II schools that are on the island, and every preseason they were on our we were on their schedules. So it's pretty
Wow.
cool. I was still playing back then. I think I played up till I was like 36 years old. So I had a
Dang.
group of players that had recently finished their collegiate careers.
Hmm.
So we had like Brandy Richardson, Elise Umeda, Jamie Smith from Iolani, and they Keisha Kanekoa, a bunch of them, and we did a exhibition team, and it's pretty cool because we won a lot of those
Well, of
games.
course you should. that,
Even
that
yeah,
sounds like, yeah,
BYU
the
Hawaii
dream
had a
team.
team. Oh,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and I gave them an opportunity to keep playing. We also did a
Hmm.
summer league for a few years. So I think for basketball, for me, that was the end of my full circle. So as a
Mm.
player, then a coach, now giving back to youth and even all the way up to the college level, I think it was easy for me to say I think I'm done, and it was easy for
Ah.
me to hang it up after that. And nobody wanted to take it over, so
Oh.
I. It's a lot of work, though. It was a lot of work, and all of my coaches have just like excelled in what they're doing now, and so that's something to be proud of for myself and that. um, but they all became coaches in their own right, whether it was opening up their own gym,
Hmm.
being coaches at head coaches at whatever schools they were at. Now athletic director up at Kamehameha is Brandy Richardson. Seeing their growth and it's pretty cool. But I think
Yeah.
one player that I helped out, I think it would have been Jamie Smith. She went to
Okay.
Iolani and then played at UNLV, and she would come and she'd work so hard in the weight room, conditioning, and then we'd go out and shoot baskets. And she made such a huge gain in the short amount of time. I think I had her for maybe 2 or 3 years, and it's nice to feel that commitment back. And she was the one calling me, "Hey, can we shoot some baskets? Can we work on this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm there. I'm
That's
there."
so awesome.
But that feeling with Jamie, even Keisha Kaneko, who played at UH, that kind of level of commitment to getting better, I appreciate.
I appreciate just how much you're giving because you, along with so many other coaches and volunteers in sports, like the stories that like you just mentioned, it's you hear that happen a lot where people are just giving of their time and giving of their energy to without any kind of monetary return or things like that, and it's almost like you guys are working just as hard because of the amount of time and effort you're putting into it, yet the people you're helping, they're the ones getting, all the glory or whatnot. So
Yeah.
it's so interesting to see how giving, people like yourself have been. And, I feel like there's got to be something there that we can tap into to go, oh, let's copy that and multiply it so that more people in our communities can get infected with that kind of passion and drive. But
Yeah, and it's just the individual that wants to do that, and there's a lot of coaches now that are doing it still, and I don't do it anymore because of my time. Plus, I'm old. I'm old now, so it's a lot different now than back in the day with those players because I could still run with them
yeah,
and I could still shoot with them, and it kind of served a purpose for me too, and it was filling me up. But now I'm just
yeah.
like, yeah, I'll run like 10 steps and I'm sore. But I'm old. I actually last night I did a basketball game for the Wahine on Spectrum, and my coworker sat right next to me, and I asked her how old she was, and she's like, "Oh, I'm 23," and she asked me how old I was, and I told her how old I was, and she's like, "That's how old my mom is,"
Oh no.
and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
Did you proceed
So
to unplug her microphone?
no,
You're done.
I mean, she had just finished playing, and this is her first year
Oh.
on the side set with me and for
Mhm.
Spectrum Sports. She's doing a wonderful job, and it's just perspective. Yeah, I'm not young, but I still try to work out like at my own pace. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does the touch ever go away? Do you ever lose it as far as your shooting touch, even no matter how, little your training is much now, but is that something that's still like it's still automatic?
No, no, no. You
No.
have to keep practicing it.
Oh
Be-
no.
I actually tried to help Tahiti's sister's kids. Was last year the daughter was interested in basketball. And so Tahiti asked me if I could help them. I said, if they drive, they're in Kahuku in Laie. If they drive closer to here, I mean, yeah, I think I could do maybe once a week.
Hmm.
I tried to shoot, and you still have the form and everything,
Right.
but the muscle memory, this long, it's gone.
Oh
So you
man.
have to retrain the muscles. And so I was shooting and shooting. The next day, my forearm was so sore. And then I had to like shag all the rebounds because I don't have anybody rebounding for me.
Right.
And then my legs were sore. So
Yeah.
I think I hung it up at the right time. But I can still teach, right? Like, okay, this is the demonstrating, it's a different story. I did
Yeah.
demonstrate a little bit, but demonstrating is a little bit harder.
How does that feel? Because so I had a way lesser experience than what you did, but I volunteer coached for a season for I think they're like 10 years old, and you coach them and they're looking up to you, and then when you demonstrate it and it doesn't work, and
Uh,
it's like, just do as I say, it'll work for you, but not like,
but,
how did that work for you?
well, I didn't shoot. I just demonstrated the move. Unless it was
Oh,
a
okay.
layup or
Yeah.
a close shot, just demonstrate the move and then say, okay, and just two dribbles, pull up, just hold the ball right there.
Yeah.
That's all you guys do.
Do they recognize and understand and appreciate just what your pedigree is though, and your accomplishments? Like, do they know, or are you just, hey, you know that's auntie, just nice
It's
lady
anti.
helping out? For
It's
real?
just
They don't
anti.
realize? Oh my goodness.
Well, I think because Tahiti's sister would tell Mapu, turn on the TV, Nani's
Hmm.
talking. I think she did, at one point, and then they saw, okay. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think they had mentioned that they're very grateful that I took time to try to help them. But yeah, I know they're grateful. That's just family, though.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, to me, you'll always be the one person who got me to, one, notice women's basketball, and then two, become a fan of it ever since.
Oh,
And so to see how you've been, at least recognized and getting into the Hall of Fame and stuff, like, I just put you at the pinnacle. Like, for me, my basketball heroes, are like Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Nani Cockett. So, but
wow,
like,
that's
it was an impact because, at when I was watching UH sports, like, I was a huge fan of, basketball, football, volleyball, but there's just something about your game and the way that you approached it, and showed up on the court, that just got my attention at that age. And from then on, I was like, hey, women's basketball, like, everyone had their, their comments about, but I was like, this is actually really good, and I appreciate it. And to this day, I follow WNBA and everything. So
oh,
yeah,
that's
I have
cool.
you to thank for that. You
Oh,
inspired a fan for sure out of me.
I tell you what, this team that Laura Beeman has, the Wahine basketball team, they're pretty
Hmm.
exciting. So
Yeah.
I think it's for me sitting on the sidelines and actually getting to analyze what they're doing for the
Hmm.
first time. Not for the first time. I think the past like 4 years, she's had really good teams. Obviously, she went to the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row. But I think
Yeah.
this team there's something about this team, energetic wise, that is extra exciting. And I think it's the emergence of a local girl, right? Lily Wahine
Yeah.
Kapu, and then we have Kelsey Imai, who's from Waikea. I think the local girls are drawing in the fans, and
Hmm.
the fans that have been coming have been wonderful, great, super
Yeah.
supportive, and it kind of has the same feeling now. Like even when Shana Kuehu was playing, like you
Hmm.
have those local girls that are playing hard for their state, for their hometown,
Yeah.
and that kind of energy is reciprocated with the people coming to support them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've watched any of their games, but they're kind of exciting to
Yeah.
watch.
And I am the hugest fan of Coach Beeman. Like,
Hmm.
I've seen her speak at different
Hmm.
events, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure that if I was in a locker room with her leading, I would just run through any door, or any wall that she tells me to. Like, she just has this leadership quality that is just like,
Hmm.
I believe I could do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what she tries to instill, like super positivity while coaching, and still like trying to, coach the mistakes, but turn those mistakes into like gains.
Hmm.
Um, I think her coaching staff is super key this year. Kalila Mitchell, that came back from San Jose State, she was away from 1 year. I think her player development skills are tremendous, and I think it's helped most of the players that gain a little bit more and get better this year. And I think that's why the energy is a little bit different. It's more upbeat, and I think they're really exciting to watch. And I'm even standing up on some plays. I'm just like, I haven't really done that in
Yeah.
a while, so to get me excited on the sideline is super awesome.
It seems like basketball in general, both men's and women's, has evolved over the past, few decades as far as the style. And I believe that the way you played, you'd be like killing it right now. Like, do you look at the way the game is played now and think, man, I wish this was how it was when I was playing? Or were you happy with the style in which the era that you got to participate in?
It was a pretty cool era, and
Yeah.
I was happy. I feel like the teams that we played were a little bit better, but
Hmm.
it's just because of the conference that they're in, and Hawaii's killing it right now. But we played the Becky Hammonds.
Yeah.
We played against. I remember playing against North Carolina. What is that sprinter's name? Olympian sprinter. Anyways, she was on that team, and I remember them warming up, and we're warming up, and they came out dunking.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
I was just like, what? And dunking now, right? There's a few women that can dunk now, at
Yeah.
the collegiate level, at the high school level, but dunking back then
Right.
was just jaw dropping. And I think when we saw those dunks, I think we had lost the game right there. We just was like, what is happening? But I think the level of play back then, I mean, there's some great players that in that time period that came
Hmm.
out. But this time period, you see the Caitlin Clarks, and
Hmm.
she is just amazing to watch.
Right.
And the level of play, the level of skill, I think the skill is a lot better.
Yeah.
The play is exciting. And that's why
Yeah.
I think you're drawn to even the WNBA. I was watching the WNBA for Amy Atwell, cheering her on when she
Mm.
made it to the Sparks. Unfortunately, she got waived, but she's killing it now in Australia. So I think there's so much more opportunity for growth with clubs, with
Yeah.
personal training, with the way they physically train their body, with the supplements that are out, the way that they feed their body as well. So there's so much more opportunity to get better if you take it.
Hmm.
So, back in the day, you get hurt, you you going in for some ice, and that's it,
Yeah.
and you're playing the next day. But now there's so many other things like minutes restrictions, and
Hmm.
we're gonna watch them so that they can further their career. So with me, it's like, oh, you sprained your ankle, okay, you're gonna play the next game, and it was just it. That was just it. There was,
Yeah.
unless I said no, which I didn't say no unless I needed surgery on my knees. I was playing.
Yeah.
So that's just the mindset of back in the day and now. It's like just push through it, you'll be fine. That's just old school.
Yeah. Yeah. You brought up the knee surgeries, and that reminds me of the time when you were recovering from knee surgery. There was that story that came out in the news about you like stopping a robbery from your family member or something. And I didn't know all the details, but I just remember going, but her knee, like I was so terrified that, you chasing after somebody and pinning them down was gonna like extend your recovery for your knee injury. But did like what happened with that?
We were coming back from my grandpa's funeral,
Oh my
actually,
gosh,
and
really?
yeah,
Oh man.
so we came back to my house, my parents' house, and I was walking, I think, my little cousins on the street, not on the street, on the sidewalk, but walking down the street for some reason. And I look across the street and I see my grandma walking my auntie to her car.
Hmm.
And then I see this guy coming hot from the back. And I'm just watching him, and all of a sudden I just see him push my nana
Oh my
down
gosh.
and then take my auntie's purse. And they're on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
My nana had a broken wrist from
Oh
that.
man.
And it was just like, okay, here we go. And I just started running after him. I didn't even think. I didn't think that, oh, I not supposed to run yet. I didn't think that you're in rehab for your knee. I just went. It was just a reaction. And I chased him into this cul-de-sac, and at the end of the cul-de-sac is IA intermediate school. That whole time I'm chasing him, I'm screaming for help. So neighbors came out, people from the school came out. At that time, my little cousins went in and got my dad
Oh,
in the house.
yeah.
And so I chased him. Basically, people came out at the school, so he couldn't go in the school. So he had to turn
Oh
around.
no.
And when he turned around, it was me. And so it's me and him tugging on the purse. And right after that, my dad came and just, that was it for him. But
Oh my God.
it wasn't any thought that, oh my God, maybe he has a gun or a knife or anything. It was just like, let
Yeah.
me just, you push my nana down
Yeah.
and you stole my auntie's purse, I'm gonna get it back, kind of thing. And
How far was it that you had to chase him?
not that far. It was down the street, and then you make a right into that lane, the cul-de-sac where I intermediate was. It wasn't that far, probably maybe 400 yards.
That's still pretty far for someone who's like, so how far along were you from your surgery for your knee? What
I
kind of
was
injury was it? Was it ACL?
ACL surgery.
Dang.
So it was funny because when I had gotten the purse back and I'm
Hmm.
walking back I could walk. I'm walking back to the house. All I was thinking about was, oh my God, my trainer's going to kill me. Not the guy that I got the
Yeah.
purse back from, but my trainer
Yeah.
is going to kill me because I'm not supposed to run yet. And that's all I could think about. But fortunately, like, she was very sympathetic and compassionate
Yeah.
about the situation. And right after that, I guess they cleared me to run.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
what a blessing in disguise. I was going to ask, did it kind of prolong your recovery?
No.
But it sounds like it actually boosted it up, huh?
Well, it was my second ACL. So
Dang.
you kind of, after the first one, you kind of get an understanding and gauge like where you are. But I don't think realistically I was supposed to run, but
Hmm.
I did anyways. I think I was maybe December, 3 months in. Yeah.
Wow. I think you're the only person I've known personally that has torn an ACL. I know I hear like a lot of people do, but what is that injury like? Like, because I see some, I mean, it looks painful at first, but then I see them kind of walking and I think, oh, maybe they're okay. And it turns out, no, no, they tore their ACL. Like, how does that injury, I guess, feel?
I think it just depends on the severity of it because
Oh,
my first one, my right side, I did it as a senior at Kamehameha, and that one I felt it just I twisted and I felt it pop. Nobody touched me. I felt it pop.
oh wow.
So on a twist, and I couldn't walk. The
Dang.
second one, my left side, the girl pushed off of me and I stepped back wrong and I just heard it crunch. So
Mm.
that one was more like of a partial tear. My right side, everything was torn.
Whew.
So I couldn't really walk without crutches.
Dang.
The second one, I could walk, but there was pain. But the ACL doesn't heal on its own, so you
Oh.
have to get it repaired. And the surgeries now are so much better than back when I was playing and back when I had it.
Hmm.
But I think the recovery time, I think players are very cautious now
Yeah.
about the time that it takes to recover. And it's just everybody's own personal journey with that, mentally, physically, how the body's responding. But it did hurt. It
Hmm.
hurt. After the surgery, it's very painful because you're just stuck, right?
Oh,
Like that. So it
yeah.
heals. And then at some point, your trainer or whoever's doing the rehab has to manually bend it.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was a tough recovery, but I think the second one was a little bit easier because I knew what to expect from the
Yeah.
first one.
Was there ever any point where you're just like, because I just look at you as like to achieve what you've achieved, and also just seeing you like when I've worked out with you guys in the gym, and I just see you like never say die kind of attitude and approach. Have you ever had moments where you thought of giving up or quitting, or is it just not in your DNA to think about that. I mean, I know you ended up retiring, but that's like on your own terms. But it's like when it's giving up or quitting, when it's something that's pushing up against you.
Mm.
It, for someone that's competitive as you, have you ever felt like, yeah, maybe I don't want to fight anymore?
Well, back when I was actually playing, no, there was never a time. Even
Wow.
in like lying there, knowing I had to get surgery, coming out of surgery, I just said, well, it is what it is. And I'm going to get back on the court and
Mm,
I'm going to take whatever time I need and understanding of even my own self and what
hmm.
I want. And there was no doubt that I wanted to play again. So now you ask me that now, I'm not as competitive. And there's it's easy to say, no, it's good, I'm good. I don't need to do that. I mean, I've had when I first started at Better Homes and Gardens real estate, I had a coworker there who always wanted to play one on one. He kept asking me,
Hmm.
"Hey, let's go play one on one." I say, "I'm good. No, no, thank you. I don't need to prove myself to you." So to this day,
Right.
10 years later, I still haven't played in one on one.
Good. I don't want you to play that guy. He
He's
doesn't
actually
deserve
really
that.
cool.
Okay, okay.
He's way shorter than me, though,
Yeah.
but younger than me. I
So,
did say maybe horse. I'll maybe play you horse, but I
oh,
need I
okay.
need to train for a month.
Yeah, we don't want your forearm to get
No, no,
sore.
the forearm tight.
Yeah. To be that competitive, going back to when you were that way, I mean, was it stressful? Because so for me, I have a lot of stress and I guess regret because I'm not competitive enough. Like I fall short of something because I gave up too quickly, or and then I that weighs heavily on me. Of
Hmm.
well, I didn't even give it my all. Like what could have happened? For those like yourself who was like you knew what you wanted and you said I'm just gonna go do it. Was there any kind of stress involved in that, or was it because you're so strong mentally that it wasn't even a thought?
Yeah, I don't think it was a thought. I don't think it was stressful. I think it was like, well, how much can I go forward?
Mm,
How much more can I go? Even to pushing myself so much that maybe I shouldn't have played that next game after I sprained my ankle,
hmm.
but I didn't want to lose any games because when you're in college, you only have a set amount of games. So
Yeah.
I know now that they rest players if they're injured. I didn't want to rest at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was stressful. I just thought I was taking that opportunity to see how far I could handle it. And, thankfully my body held up during those times. But to say that you're stressed, no, I don't think I was ever stressed. I think I always took an opportunity and kind of did what I felt I needed to do and could do to hold that space at that time. But nowadays, no, I don't think when I make a decision, I don't ever regret it,
Mm,
and I don't ever wonder what if because I
yeah.
know like I trust my now, I trust my gut that I'm
Hmm.
supposed to be in the rooms where I'm supposed to be in. So there's never any stress upon that in that sense. And
Yeah.
you shouldn't stress out either because
I'm learning
nobody,
that.
yeah, you
Yeah.
shouldn't stress out either. Like if you are truly walking in your truth and in your path and you're using your gut to decide what to do and what not to do and how much to do and how little to do, if you're truly walking that in your truth, then you'll never be disappointed.
That's something I'm been really working on as of real recently, actually.
Hmm.
And it's something that I always envied when I looked up to successful people like yourself, where I'm just like, um, I want that kind of mentality, that dog mentality of like, I want it, go get it. But I couldn't ever really feel that connected to something that I want. Like because you said
Yeah.
you knew what you wanted and you stayed true to it. The problem for me, and I think it was because I convinced myself to distract because
Mm.
I was like, I think I want this, I would like this, but there was nothing ever was like, I need this. I gotta have it. And so I never felt that kind of drive that you described, but now I'm realizing I think it's because I put in these, you know, the voices of doubt. Like, are you sure you want this? and that's just the fear, but of failure and whatnot. But to be able to embrace and say, no, this is what I want. I think that's when you can make that switch, right?
Yeah, I think fear of failure gets into people's head a little bit too much because,
Mm,
all the successful people have had to fail in order to get to where they're at. So if you look at failure as, well, it's just moving me another way, and you don't
mm,
label it as failure, but as just, it's just redirecting me another way,
yeah,
then you won't get so hard on yourself if you do fail. So I don't like to use fail.
yeah,
I don't know if you ever heard failing forward before.
yes, yes, I
Yeah.
have.
So I don't like to say fail. You're just redirecting your next move
Mm-hmm.
and say, well, that didn't really work out for me. I tried, I gave it my all, and now I'm redirecting into another path. I think if you look at it that way, you'll be way more gentle on yourself. And
Yeah.
I think with all the stuff that's going on, the mental health issues, I think we need to be gentle with ourselves as much as possible. So for you to say fear of failure, I say just say we're gonna try things, and it's your choice, and it's your life. If you try it and it doesn't work out, you didn't fail at it. It's just redirecting you.
Mm-hmm.
So be gentle on yourself, Nolan. It's
That's
okay.
That's really neat to hear you say that, putting the importance on being gentle on yourself.
Hmm.
Because there's so many of these older generations that are against that. They're like, hey,
Hmm.
toughen it up. Like, we went through all this stuff. We never had mental health awareness and all that stuff. And they're just really brutal about it.
Yeah.
But to hear someone like yourself who put in the hard work, who is successful, but still recognizes being gentle and sensitive to people's mental health. That's really great to hear, and I'm really glad to hear that coming from you.
It's a different time now. Back when we were growing up, it's, boom, boom, tough love. And I still
Yeah.
believe that people need tough love, but it can be like, it can be worked in a different way and expressed in a different way to the kids nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's very important to love yourself first and foremost and love what you're doing, and to be able to share that with people, because there's so much like things going on in this world right now, like the wars and everything. COVID happened, and
Yeah.
we have to understand that we never, growing up, we never had to deal with any of that. Just our external, everything that's happening on the outside of us right now, just in the world, that's a lot of anxiety and stress on people. And I think for me to have that understanding, I finally understand now, like understand even the players these days, what they
Mm-hmm.
had to go through even during COVID, right? I never had to deal with COVID while still playing basketball.
Yeah.
That basketball is actually secondary. Just staying alive was the
Right.
first and foremost. Having your family stay alive was the priority. So to have an understanding and compassion of what those players have to go through, and yet still try to um, expect greatness from them, is you kind of have to balance that out. So when I speak, when I'm trying to help friends in their workout journeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be that person who's always like disappointed or yelling. I have to work with that person, right? To try to get the best and try to bring the best out of them. So
Yeah.
even growing up, as we're not our fathers and mothers, grandfathers, we're a different generation. I think we're the generation that merges the two, right? we are
Yeah.
we are tough love, but yet have to understand where the younger generation is mentally. So how do we
Yeah.
merge that two together to get the best out of that person? I think I think our generation is it, because we're a product of both.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a neat perspective.
Yeah.
It's almost like the visualization I saw when you described that is that you're coming to meet the person, the generation halfway, versus we've always heard it of come up here, this is where it's at, guys, this is how it used to be. Whereas
Yeah.
the
I
way
mean,
you describe it's like, let's come together.
It was a great time, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there was no cell phones, no internet. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want. You're playing outside, but now you're working with a generation that's always on their devices and try to, hey, come look at the outside, come experience this. And, when we try to teach their kids, we teach about experiences and it's not
Hmm.
about the stuff anymore. We're not going to buy you stuff for Christmas. We're going to get you experiences so that you can experience these things and take that experience and that feeling with you wherever you go. Because, you get a new iPhone in a year, they're tossing it for a new one.
Right.
So it's not for us, it's not about things anymore. It's about experiences and what those experiences make you feel.
Hmm.
Because that's really all we take. Like our pets, right?
Yeah.
Can't take our pets' beds with us after they transition, but it's the experience and then the feeling of passing those things that our dogs experience on passing it on for other dogs to experience love and compassion and all the good stuff. But I think my focus on now is what kind of experiences do I want to have?
Mm.
But so, which is leading to another transition in my life where me and Tahiti co-authored two books.
Wow.
So we dove into the spiritual realm using her um, channeling and mediumship. We have two books out and we have an online course. Our
Holy
IG
smokes.
is Speaking Abundance Method. And, we're trying to serve others in that sense as well. So
Yeah.
that's the next, well, it's actually been a part of my life for 10 years. And
Hmm.
so, but it's trying to reach other people as well and have other people understand frequencies and energies and how to hone your own gifts. And that,
Hmm.
so we have one book out called Speaking Abundance Method, and then we have another book out called Finding Your Superpowers. So it's pretty cool.
And and is it like on like Amazon and stuff like that? Like
Yeah,
how do people get?
both of
Wow,
them are
that's
on
so cool.
Amazon. Speaking Abundance Method is actually on Audible on Amazon. And
Cool.
our really good friend Anna V is the narrator of it. So,
Oh wow.
Anna's a wonderful voice, and she's an awesome artist. So we felt like we wanted a Polynesian to narrate the book, and
Hmm.
she offered it, and it was her first time doing an Audible, and she did it so beautifully. It's so easy to listen to that we hope a lot more people check it out. It's on Audible.
When you say speaking to abundance, what is kind of the theme of what are you trying to convey to the readers about?
So speaking abundance method is about just having people understand basically themselves and how they are able to manifest what they want. So we're not talking only about, so people say abundance and they relate that to money,
Yeah.
but it's not, abundance is not that. So abundance is the feeling of feeling fulfilled in
Mm.
in all aspects of your life. You can have an abundance of wealth, you can have an abundance of joy, you can have an abundance of love, abundance of anything that you want to experience. So when we say speaking abundance method, it's how to get to that point where you're in abundant in all areas of your life and
Hmm.
feeling that fulfillment truly.
When you first met Tahiti, were you already in this journey of being really spiritually connected, or did it kind of come from the two of you getting together and experiencing kind of her mediumship?
I was, I wouldn't say I was a religious person, but I always knew that there was more to life than just religions.
Hmm.
So, I was baptized Catholic, but never went to church. But I
Yeah.
always prayed to God
Right.
whenever before I played, before I went to sleep, even when I was overseas, especially when I was playing overseas, I'd always pray at night because you're overseas, you're not, in somewhere where you're familiar with. So I would always pray, God, Jesus, people call it the universe, source, Buddha, whatever denomination you want, and whoever you pray to. I knew there was more. And
Hmm.
so when I met Tahiti, and I actually went to one of her channeling sessions where she channels her guides.
Hmm.
I was going through another transition in my life, a breakup, and it was 12 years ago actually. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
working in this 12-year cycles, and so
Yeah.
this year is the start of a whole new 12-year cycle, right?
Oh
If you
my
follow
gosh.
the Chinese zodiac, right?
Yeah.
And so 12 years ago, I was going through another transition, and I went to see someone that did Ho'oponopono, and they said, come to this, it'll help you out a lot. I went, and I just, as soon as her guide started talking, I just started crying. And there was a
Mm.
lot of people in that room.
Yeah.
And for me to just let my guard down and just feel everything that they were saying, I mean, I released a lot
Mm.
in that moment. And like I knew like this was healing for me. And so after that I met Tahiti, and we've been on this amazing journey together, and it's been so great. And we have two books out now and an online course where you can actually hear in the Audible book, you can hear her actual channelings.
Wow.
So yeah, so she channels Star Council, and how they speak and what they speak about, it just opens your mind. It just opens your mind to everything that you need to hear about getting better for your own self. And
Hmm.
they've helped bring perspective to so much of my life, even with the transitioning of the three dogs. They've
Hmm.
helped with that. And I'm so grateful that they offer their perspective, because it makes you think, right? It makes you think, how am I going to get through this? How am I going
Yeah.
to get through losing three dogs in 1 year? And what is my next step in life? I've always been a dog mom. Tahiti has kids. We've always been moms to kids. Now it's just us. So
Yeah.
even though as human beings, there's still a little bit of stubborn side of me that says no, 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 no. I want the past, right? I want the feelings of the
Yeah.
past. But they offer their perspective and have you think about what it's like to dream again,
Mm.
really without the responsibilities of caring for senior dogs, without the responsibility of caring for kids. You know,
Yeah.
you can now, your life is wide open. You can experience whatever you want to experience. So, totally grateful for the Star Beings, Star Council guiding me in that sense. And I think that, if people are looking for something to listen to that is self help, that is perspective, then and listen to that book. It's pretty cool. And you can hear my voice. So my voice is on when I'm asking questions.
Oh,
So,
okay. I thought it's
and
like you're in the background, like, hey, we need more
yeah,
shoyu.
that would be funny, but
Yeah.
yeah, that would be. I listen to it sometimes. I'm like, oh, can I hear my dogs in the background? No, no,
Oh.
no.
Well, I love the way that you describe it because here you are asking the question, how can I? How can I?
Hmm.
And we typically as humans think, well, just give me the answer.
Yeah,
Whereas what you're describing is they're just opening the perspective for you to find your own answers because the answer is going to be different for everybody, right?
exactly. Yeah,
And I just
exactly.
love the way you describe it. It's like, oh, and it keeps the power within you. Like it's not that, oh, I'm doing okay because somebody else told me what to do.
Hmm.
It's just like they're kind of maybe like cleaning the windows a little so you can see through it a little clearer, right?
That's spot on. That's spot
Yeah.
on. You're not going to get the answers everywhere. As much as I ask them, what's the answer? They want to make you work. They want to make
Yeah.
you go deep within yourself and figure it out, because everybody has the power within them for healing, and
Mm.
everybody has the power within them to manifest whatever they want to experience. And just their perspective helps you just rethink, and it just transformed your life
Yeah.
actually, because you hear all these there's brilliant coaches out there, right, that human, but then
Hmm.
when you hear it from a whole different perspective, it's probably what they're saying, but another way of saying it.
Mm.
It's just
Yeah.
different. And learning from different teachers, that's the key. You just don't, you're never going to learn from just one teacher. You're going to learn
Hmm.
from multiple teachers, and to bring all of the teachings together to formulate your own, and to kind of just, okay, this is me. I'm taking bits from here, bits from here, and I'm making it me.
Hmm.
And then from there, you can share with others.
Yeah. That goes to the point that, it's always like everybody's special and unique in their
Hmm.
own way. So, but yet, I think especially in America, we're kind of programmed through like the school system that you follow this, guide, and this is how it is. And if you stray off it, something's wrong with you. You have some kind of
Exactly.
problem and stuff. And so, I love that you guys are bringing this in to kind of help rewire us back to what we originally were, because I think without all of these distractions and ways of learning, that I think doesn't help cultivate that inner confidence and creativity and just follow what the blueprint is.
Oh yeah, you're exactly
Yeah,
right. And they talk about that
yeah.
too. Is
This
the
sounds
school
like the perfect
systems
book for me.
need to switch
Yeah,
to bring
yeah.
out the gift of everybody has their own unique gift. And that's our first book is finding your own superpower.
Mm,
That's our first book. But everybody has their own unique gift. But how do you bring that out? How do you find it?
yeah,
And when you're in a school system, it's just this is the way you do it, right? This
right.
is how. But then you're being trained to be a worker bee, right?
Hmm.
Where people need to just express themselves and express their own
Yeah.
gifts. And that'll just make the world a better place.
Yeah, I mean, the world's constantly changing, so we
Hmm.
need fresh ideas and fresh perspectives. And
Hmm.
so this is awesome. So aside from people getting more information about by just searching for it like on Amazon, you mentioned you guys are on IG as well. And do you have like
Yep.
a website? Like how where what are all the ways that, because I have a feeling people are gonna hear this and gonna go, I that is speaking to me. I need this. So let's give them the
It's
best path to that.
so speaking abundance method on Instagram. So it's speaking underscore abundance underscore method. But that's, yeah, I think that's the same on TikTok. I don't have, I'm so old, I don't have TikTok. But
Don't worry,
Tahiti
you're not
does all
missing
the
out on anything.
Tahiti does all the social media stuff too. So, and then, if you go on it, you can see our book is on there as well. And then we also have the online course. It's 8 shifts to
Okay.
abundance, and
Hmm.
you get the first shift for free, and you can go through like 10 to 15 minute little courses, and if you like it, then you can continue. But it took us
That's
a year
awesome.
to finish that course, so it's a it's a
A
proud
lot
moment
in
for
there.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. You guys are such a power couple in that you guys have made a commitment to using your experiences and your gifts to helping others when, I could just totally see you guys being like, no, we're good. Like, we got what we need out of this, but you're putting in all of this energy into spreading that. And I wasn't expecting to find out about that in this conversation, but I'm so glad we did, because this is the kind of work that needs to be not only celebrated and encouraged, but spread out so that others can do the same. So thank you so much for doing this and sharing this with all of us. And I'm really excited to listen to this. I won't read it; I'll listen to it. but it sounds like it's perfectly for what I've been kind of on this journey in what I've learned and trying to figure out about myself. And
Hmm.
I'm sure that there are tons just like me in the same situation. So I'm so glad that you guys put this stuff out.
Oh, thank you. I hope it can help others, because that's what, not only with real estate, we want to serve others, we want to help others raise their frequency, raise their vibration, because in turn, when you raise your own frequency and vibration, you can touch others and hopefully help
Yeah,
to raise them. And then from there, if everybody's frequency is raised, maybe we won't have wars anymore.
yeah,
Just spreading the love all around. Maybe we can have peace finally. And I think that's the goal for humanity is, you know, forget the power struggles, just live in peace with one another. And
yeah.
I think for us, I think that's our purpose and my new purpose in life. And as we transition to this next 12 years, I hope that we can help as many as we can through the channelings, through the book, through the online course, and we'll come out with more stuff, and gotta come out, stay in tune to the times, and
Right, right.
um, you know,
Start getting on that TikTok account.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm barely on Instagram. I'm not really a social media person, but I was doing it for our dogs, and
Yeah.
now that they've all transitioned, then it's time for the next chapter in our lives.
Maybe that was their gift to you to bring you on to that because they knew that was the channel that would reach more people in this. So
We
that's
hope
kind of
so.
like
Yeah.
a really neat gift. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Nani, this has been amazing. I'm so excited for what you are doing, and I'm glad that we got to connect like this. And I'm expecting we're gonna stay closely connected as you continue on with this whole new transition because it's awesome. It's exciting, and I'm just honored to know you and Tahiti. You guys are gonna make this world such a better place with what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to for the platform, and we're here to serve and help others, and raise the frequency of Mother Earth and humanity. And thank you for having and allowing me to share this space with you, Nolan. But I'll see you on TV.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'll see you on the court. Maybe you can help me raise my free throw average.